Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As promised, let's start with Flight Attendant Series Part 1. The biggest question that I always get asked is which airline to choose, whether it's regionals or mainline. In this quick tutorial, I'm going to go through some pros and cons for both regionals as well as mainline airlines, since all of them are hiring. So let us start with the regional airlines pros and cons. So one of the biggest advantage for working for the regional airline is the shorter training times. Most of the regional airlines will only train you for about 4 to 5 weeks versus 8 and up to 10 weeks for a mainline. For example, SkyWest Airline is one of the biggest regional airline and their training time is only 4 weeks. So if you are a person who gets anxiety with all the studying, then regional airline might be good for you. The second advantage for working for a regional is the choice of bases. Many of the regional airlines offer you quite a bit of bases. For example, SkyWest Airline will give you up to 18 different choices. So that could be one of the biggest reasons that you would want to join the regional airline. The third one is traveling benefits. Since the SkyWest, for example, operates under many different labels such as United Express, American, Delta, as well as Alaska, you get to have your non-rev benefits on multiple different airlines, and that includes your family. The fourth advantage is a smaller crew. For example, on the biggest aircraft on any regional airline, the maximum number of flight attendants is 2 versus up to 13 different flight attendants on a wide body, let's say on United or Delta. So if you are a person who likes to work with the least amount of people, then regional can be a great choice for you. Another advantage is shorter trips. Since most of the regional airlines have very smaller trips, you are away from home for at the most 4 days. Usually the trips last 1 to 4 days. So if you're a person with family, with kids, or any other obligations, regional is a great choice if you don't want to stay away on a trip for longer than 4 days. Another reason is great to test your temperament. Anybody who applies for a flight attendant position, you know that it is a very competitive field. A lot of time people leave their jobs, their careers to go and join the airline. If you are one of those individuals who is very young, doesn't know what they want to do, just graduated college, or you are a lady or a gentleman who is having a change of profession on a whim and you just want to test out the waters, regional can be a great choice for you. For one, the training is very short. Let's say you go on training and you really do not like the profession itself. You have the choice to get up and leave. That way you won't waste a lot of your time. Another advantage is the seniority as well as transfers. Anybody who works for a regional airline knows that they are hiring like crazy. So if you want to move up in seniority, which is everything as a flight attendant, then regionals is a great way to go because seniority moves up very quickly. For example, me, I was hired at SkyWest and I was based at Denver. And my transfer to my home base San Francisco came in 1 month. Another reason would be shorter fleets. Since most of the regional airlines don't have that many different sort of aircrafts, it is much easier to learn different aircraft structures as well as functions, versus all the mainlines that can have up to 3 to 6 different aircrafts on their fleet. And last but not the least, I know that there are a lot of you who want to be a flight attendant because you are an aspiring pilot like myself. Right now, because of the shortages of pilot, a lot of different airlines are offering incentives for their crew to move into the pilot pathway programs. And SkyWest, for example, is the best program right now because they're offering up to $56,000 towards your training if you choose to go into flying after you complete your probation. So if you're an aspiring pilot and you would like to have incentives such as training money so that you can really get to your dream profession quickly, then regional airlines can be a great choice. Now let's talk about some of the disadvantages or cons for a regional airline. The biggest disadvantage is the pay. Most regional airlines pay relatively small amount of money. That means your rate per hour is going to be much less than you would get on any major airline. The second disadvantage is long probationary periods. When you get hired as a new flight attendant, you are on a probation. That means your job is hanging by a thread. Small little mess up and you could be fired. SkyWest, for example, has one of the longest probationary period in the industry, which is 1 year. So if in that 1 year you do not perform according to the company's expectations, you could be sent home. I also want to make a point here that while you're on probation, you do not have the right to appeal your jobs. So that could be one of the biggest disadvantage if you're one of those people who get a lot of anxiety from long probationary periods. Another disadvantage for working for a regional is the smaller aircraft size. This one is important for people who are claustrophobic. Most of the regional aircrafts are very, very small. For example, the biggest aircraft that SkyWest has carries about 75 passengers. And if you're working in first class, the galley is so small that two flight attendants cannot be within each other. One has to step out of the galley. So if you're a person who has anxiety working really smaller claustrophobic places, then regional might not be a great choice for you. Another one is the weather-based cancellations. 9 out of 10 times, whenever there is a severe weather and there is a huge risk involved for safety, the smaller aircrafts are the first one to get cancelled. Because regional airlines most of the time operate much smaller aircrafts, they are the first one to get cancelled. So if you are based or living in an area that has a lot of snow or a lot of storms, a lot of hurricanes, then regional might be something to not consider. Another one is the responsibilities, especially on single flight attendant aircrafts. Now, I'm talking about this one because on the very small aircraft, such as the CRJ 200, you're the only flight attendant. Now, they train you really, really well for all the emergencies. But if one day, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, you have this responsibility to come upon you to save 50 different lives on that aircraft, and you are one of those people who might get panicked, then you have to remember that you only have to depend on your training and your fellow passengers to the rescue. So if you are a passenger who would like to have support of multiple different coworkers, then you might want to join a mainline carrier. Another disadvantage to work for a regional airline is the work stress due to space and time constraint. I say that because a lot of times when you are a lead flight attendant on regional airlines, you are taking care of a lot of things. You are keeping an eye on oversized bags that might end up in the cabin, and then you have to haul them all the way back so that you can check them in the cargo. Also, there is a lot of different working factors that can make your job a lot stressful. So if you're one of those people who don't like to wear multiple hats or the hat of a really big managerial task, then regional might not be a good choice for you. And the last but not the least is extremely strict training standards. Regional airlines tend to be very, very strict because they have such a high turnaround. They want to make sure that they break you out of your bad habits. For example, you can be sent home for a wrong color of your hair scrunchie. You can be sent home on uniform compliance just because the sole of your shoes were not black. So ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope that I answered some of your burning questions with advantages and disadvantages of applying at a regional airline. I wish you all the best, and please do not hesitate to write down any questions you might have in the comment section. Thank you and have a wonderful day.